it up. Hello, everyone. Yay! Isn't this exciting? Yes, indeed. Um, what was I going to say? Yeah, the first thing that's always great is to get on camera and have a vapor lock. So much to talk about today, including ask me anything questions. So I am going to grab them as I just came off of my Patreon discussion where we discussed a lovely gift that I got from the Golden Gate Disneyland Club and Diane. So I'm going to show you one of those cute little things that she gave me. And I'm going to cut to that and take a look. Isn't it cute? Yes, it is. So there he is. Take a look at him while I grab a couple of objects, the art that I have to, because get myself together on this one. Several things I need to talk about today, and I tended to face away from the microphone, which isn't too bright. And a couple of things I want to talk to you about before we get started. So one moment as I grab what I grab. Yeah, the other thing is too far away. I forgot he wasn't readily available, so next time. All right, did you enjoy looking at that little guy? Isn't he cute? I just think he is adorable. Again, thank you to Leo Holzers for the questions, which I'm going to place right here under my little fella. He's going to help me read. As you can see, he's already checking the questions to see what ones I should be doing, right? Right? So, awesome. One of them is a puppet question, which is why I'm sort of puppeting things today. It's just one of those things that's cool. So, let's talk first, before we get started, a couple of quick announcements that I want to do, okay? First of all, to Joseph Massey. I got your order here, my friend. Everything is lovely. But one of the things I wanted to tell you about cachets, and I want you to have some visual aids because while I talk to when I talk cachets, first day cover cachets, okay? And first day cover cachets are, of course, why I am doing a ton of drawing now. And I wanted to just kind of do an explanation, and it's mainly for Joseph. So, Joseph, I'm just gonna grab. I think I'm just gonna grab these out of here. I'm a little less organized than normal, simply because it's been a week, guys. It's actually been a week. And one of the things that I've been noticing in the news is Disneyland is seriously grousing because they want to open. And there's been some very strange, I don't want to blame it all on Black Lives Matter campaign, but there's been some very, very strange things that I've been looking at, and I wondered what you thought about them. I know that what I'm thinking about them is a little bit weird, but I'm just pulling out this so I can kind of explain what I want to explain, and then we'll get into the questions. Okay? So the first thing I want to explain is cachets. Now, you know I have several for sale, and if you don't, I have several for sale. But I wanted to talk to Joseph because Joseph, he ordered some, and one of the things that I'm learning for first day covers is that the stamp first day cover cachet collectors subscribe. And what that means is that they want the right to first refusal to collect their cachets, and they have a thing, like all of you do, they have a thing about having the same numbers. So this is I want to make sure this is the Transcontinental Railroad. Okay, so now I'm going to show you. This is the Transcontinental Railroad paperwork. It's going to get a little bit technical here. Just hang in with me. I'm going to see if I can light it a little better. It's probably better that way. Okay, this is a list of all of the Transcontinental Railroad first day covers that I have, right? So in a nutshell, what happens when you order one, and here we see that Joseph is number 48 out of 275. So in reality, what I should be doing is what I hear from stamp people is in reality what I should be doing is for Joseph sending for his order all the same number, meaning that he should get out of these cachets number 48 out of 275 anytime I send it. That should be the Joseph cachet number. Okay. Earlier numbers before 16 and under cannot be done because I have subscribers who subscribed to these. These I've talked an awful lot about, but never really got to show you guys. So let me see if I can light them properly. Here we go. All right. So this was my first cachet, meaning the very first thing I illustrated on an envelope. A cachet is any kind of art that is found on a cover design. Some are first day. First days are usually. First day of issue is what I'm talking about, right? So I did, dragons had 8 stamps. So I did an illustration for each and every one. Let me pull the colors out. This is the black and white version because when you have a digital color cancellation postmark, then you do black and white with just a touch of color. So here they are. These are the very first ones I ever did. So there's these 4 for the color. And see how pretty the cancellation is? And what I did was I took from the stamp and kind of grabbed some things for my dragons, right? And then these are with the black and white postmark for first day covers, and they are full color. Okay, so here you go. These are full color. Okay. These are all hand-drawn, meaning each and every one of these is hand-drawn. Okay. And then each and every one of these is hand-painted. It nearly put me in the hospital, guys. Seriously. There are 100, well, you guys do the math. There are 4 different stamps, color and black and white, right? So 16, 8. So you do 4 stamps, color, 4 stamps, black and white, meaning 8, correct? Times 16 sets, times what, Michael? Anyway, times 16 sets, I think. So it's like 100 and something gazillion drawings that I did, each and every drawing one by one by one. They need to be as close to the same as possible. It's crazy. Nobody who is an artist in the cachet line ever does 128, 30, 132, whatever the number is, you do the math, of these sets. So this set turns out to be expensive because it's all done by hand, hours and hours of work, all done by hand, and it swept the contest in 2019. This is a 2018 stamp. They are judged in 2019. It got Rookie of the Year. It got Rookie of the Year, meaning a first cachet ever. And then it also received hand-drawn, hand-painted, and Best in Show. So why am I telling you this? Because these people all subscribed. So 1 through 16 subscribed. So anyone who has number 2, they get all the number 2s. Anyone who subscribes to number 3, they get all the number 3s. If they subscribe to number 4 envelope, all the number 4s in my line. They automatically commit to saying, I want one of each of anything you produce. Luckily, I'm never going to do ones like these again, so it won't break the bank for them. But that's what brought me to Joseph, because Joseph has got number 40, what did I say? Number 40, he is number 48. So I want to make sure he gets all 48s. And if he wants to subscribe, he can say to me, Terry, I want to subscribe and get whatever you do. And then he gets all the 48s. The challenge for me is some of you are just going to want the Walt Disney ones, And if that's the case, I have to check with the stamp folks to figure out how I break up the sets. Because some sets, especially these, some people will buy these and not buy anything else. Some people won't even go near these because they're so pricey. So I know it's confusing and it's a terrible way to start out on an Ask Me Anything if you're looking for followers. But I had to explain that today because it's on my mind, and it's been consistently on my mind for a very, very long time. So I had to make sure that I got that. Many of you were asking to see these cachets on the back. I'll just show you. On the back is my logo, and then handwritten in very tiny letters is the word First Cachet. This is the only time you're going to see that, because there's only one set of First Cachets ever. So, so that's how it works, right? That's how it works. So, and then they're kept in this nice little envelope to make sure that they are protected. But I did this way, guys, because I didn't know. You do it first. If you're going to do a supercalifragilistic thing, you want to do it before you realize what you're getting into. This is what I kept saying to the person, Michael Luzzy, who you see join us on here. He kept saying, don't do it, don't do it. Nobody does it. And of course, Terri says, well, nobody does it. I got to do it. And that is, nobody has ever hand-drawn, hand-painted so many. So they will just escalate in price because there's only one First Cachet. So that's that. I hope you didn't mind me going there, and if you did, you have control of your channel changer. Don't feel that if you find that boring, I'm going to be talking for a while, so come back later. if you found that annoying. I'm sorry, but it's art, and a lot of people had questions about it. So I wanted to make sure that Joseph understood that I'm going to be working hard to get him the same numbers, because he ordered some more cachet envelopes. They make a great gift because the stamps are all government property. You cannot reproduce a stamp. It is against the law. So you get this beautiful piece of art for a low price that you can frame and place on your wall. The Transcontinental Railroad stamps are $40 for the set. Way more reasonable than the dragons, but then I didn't hand draw every single one. You see what I'm saying? So there you go. I know you didn't ask about it, but I wanted to share it anyway. So oh yes, I did say in my thing about Disneyland. Yeah, so so Disneyland is, things are happening all over with Disneyland, and I noticed in this Q&A there is a let's see. Oh no, that's not my agent. Let's see. In here, yeah, video was released earlier this week. New Beauty and the Beast attraction at Tokyo Disneyland. Actually, Tokyo Disneyland has been busy, haven't they? Busy creating new attractions for their guests, which is nice. The first thing I noticed when Leo sent me this video is it's raining. Every time I've gone to Tokyo, it's rained. Every time. Opening day I went, it rained. 5-year anniversary, it rained. 20-year anniversary, it rained. Or actually, 20-year was the first one, 5-year. So I got them mixed up. 20 years the next time I went, 20-year anniversary. And it rained. Opening day for the 20, it rained. So it was neat to see the streets wet because it just made me feel like I was there at Tokyo Disneyland. But there's a waltzing bell, and you could watch the entire ride. I couldn't watch too much of it. I get motion sick, so I had to kind of stop through it. But I did see it, and it is beautiful. Japan is revolutionary in forward thinking and always creative. If you ever go to Japan and you get to ride the Winnie the Pooh ride, it's off the chain. I can stay in the Tigger room forever. Just saying. So their innovation is wonderful. Can we do it in other parks? Walt Disney World actually has more flexibility to bring things from Tokyo and Shanghai than Disneyland does, because again, as I'm always stating, space, space, space. We don't have a lot of space at Disneyland Anaheim. Okay? That's because that's the park that Walt Disney built. And at that time, I don't know. Did he think it was going to expand? I know before he passed that he went to Walt Disney World because he wanted more space. And he knew that California, you couldn't get it. So he wanted to be able to buy a lot of land. And that's when he went to Florida, because Florida had tons of land that nobody wanted to build on. Gators might have been a reason. But Walt said, no problem. And it's a shame he never got to see that part. But the point is he did not try to expand Disneyland because it was very challenging and very expensive. So that's one of the reasons that some of this technology could work if you repurpose. So what do I mean by repurpose? Well, what I mean is that you can take the submarine ride, for example, which in the early days, you could barely stand in line because of the gas fumes you had to breathe because they were gas-powered submarines. Now, they are all ecology-powered submarines, and you don't choke when you're there. So that's one change that's been just beautiful. And then they changed the underwater adventure to a lot of the techniques that we see here. Not exactly, but similar. So if they could repurpose some, that would be cool. In the case of the hitchhiking ghosts in Florida, I'm told that the ghosts just don't, do this anymore. They actually flip and roll and bounce and tease and play on your doom buggy and do kind of the, if you've seen Captain EO, there's a character called Waldo who does and kind of does all kinds of crazy stuff and says, I bounced on people's heads. If you haven't seen Captain EO, it's because it's not in the parks anymore. But that kind of a thing is what they ended up applying and doing with the ghosts in Florida. That's something I think could come to Disneyland. So to answer that question, that is fantastic. And it asks me here, can I compare the Winnie the Pooh attractions as an example? There is no comparison, okay? The Winnie the Pooh here in Disneyland is like, what? Did you go to Walmart? And the one in Japan is what we were told when I went there in 2005 and experienced it for the first time. Shout out to Bruce Lau, thank you. Bruce is another amazing sculptor, and we have been friends for years. And he happened to say to me, one of the things you don't want to miss, Terri, is the Winnie the Pooh ride. That's the best ride in the Magic Kingdom in Tokyo. And I was like, what? But he was right. At the time in 2005, blew my socks off. I just couldn't believe it. It's so creative. And what happened was that when the Imagineers wanted to build it, and I may have told this story before, but when the Imagineers wanted to build it, they said it was going to be so many millions of dollars to build it. And Tokyo said, how about if we give you more? So it's going to take 18 million to build this attraction. And Tokyo said, what if we give you 21 million? And that is something creatives are not used to. Usually what happens is they're like, okay, 2 million, can you do it for 10? And you're like, no. I'm going to have to cut stuff. No, I don't want to do it for 10. I want to do it for 18. That's why I said 18. But Tokyo knew that they wanted to have creative control over their park in Tokyo. And so they leased the Disneyland name. And that way they have the decision making. They are the heavyweight when it comes to decision making, which is what makes that park one of the most beautiful parks in the world, one of the cleanest parks in the world, and one of the most exciting parks of the world. And then they turn around. This is Tokyo again. This is the Tokyo, Japan people of Japan turning and saying, hey, if we give you a blank check, what could you do with a companion park? And that's how Disney Seas was born. And oh my Lord, if you haven't been, Run, Don't Walk. It is one of the most, I spent a lot of time walking through there in tears. I could not believe how gorgeous It was. How creative, how revolutionary, how interactive, how fun was Disney Seas. One of my favorite parks on the planet. They have a flying gig that is Da Vinci, yeah? And you climb in and you make it fly. You remember that thing? You've seen it. You've seen pictures of the guy in there. You actually can climb in this thing and make the... Oh, wow. This is what happens when you give creatives, when they tell you what it's going to cost, you do it. Especially if you trust that these creatives are not looking to get you, right? But you know your team. So here at Terri Hardin Designs, oh, that sounds so official. Here at Terri Hardin Designs, I've got a crack team of people. And when they come to me and they say, this is what it's going to cost, this is what it's going to cost, because we care about each other. We're not trying to get our beach house from each other. We're trying to create experiences for you. But they need to be paid what they need to be paid in order for you to get what I need to get. It's just not right for me to say, can you cut it tighter? And people are so used to, artists are so used to creating something and somebody coming back and saying, what can I get for less money? It's become a habit with companies that hire us. And you have to get to the point where you say, I could do it, guys, but it's not going to be as good. So, and I'm kind of shedding a little bit of light on the ghosts. I haven't answered that question yet, but I'm shedding that a little bit on the ghost, and that's kind of what the deal is. But Tokyo's park, well, Paris is number one for me because it's my park, okay? But I'm biased, all right? It's got a dragon under the castle. I got to design the dragon under the castle. I got to design the caves. I got to design how the dragon moves. It's my favorite park, okay? It just is. But Tokyo is definitely, it was number one until I got to visit Paris, because it took me a while to visit Paris. I was not automatically flown over there because I had done some designs for it. I had to, cough up the cash. So Tokyo was another one. I got very fortunate. I sold my Star Wars collection. If you want to know more about my Star Wars collection and selling it, there's another question to hit at Leo Holzer on Facebook. Just let him know you want to know more. And but I sold my collection and made a nice tidy profit, and I took my husband to Tokyo for a month on that, and we toured the entire continent of Japan. And it was beautiful. And my mother was going, did you see Mount Fuji? And I was like, yeah, on the train while I was driving by. We did not make a trek out there because my goal was to meet artists and writers in Japan. I wanted to meet other creatives like me, and I met some of the most amazing people when I was over there that were creative in different ways. So I like meeting artists of all nationalities, all colors and creeds, and all kinds of different things that they love. And Japan is just rock stars when it comes to designing. They are just, their technology is ahead of us by a full year. So it's so interesting to see what they're doing when you go over to Japan. It's a year ahead of what we will be doing, because that's how long. And even now, because now it's 2020. Now, not a lot is happening, of course, but let's just go back to 2019. It might be happening faster. I don't know. I haven't been to Japan in a while, and I was going to go this year to see my friend Saki Hijiri, and I really wanted to go see him because he's the one that toured me. He and his family, we went to Japan together. Went to Tokyo Disneyland together, and then he toured us all up and down Japan. We went to the very tip top and made our way down, ending in Tokyo Disneyland. So it was just heavenly. It was a heavenly experience. Japan. I've wanted to be a part of Japan for a long, long time. In fact, I'm wearing, as you can tell, my little crane coat here. I love the clothing. I love the culture. I love learning about samurai. I took Iaido I took Japanese sword technique when I was younger, so I can work a mean samurai sword. I know, right? Bullwhip, samurai sword. What am I trying to say, Terry? But yeah, that's that. So I wanted to go. It took 7 times for me to get to Japan, and then it it almost was thwarted because there was a war nearby them, and they were worried that we might be in danger. But luckily, it opened up, and I got to go finally, and my whole time was just heavenly. I brought back a Godzilla toy because I love Godzilla. I love the country. I love the people. I could talk about Japan for a long time because when I finally got there, it did not disappoint me. I love that. I love that country. And when I went in '07, I noticed when I first went in '05, there were a lot of classic Japanese toilets, and there were a lot of people dressed in only black and white, black on the outside, white in the middle. And then, of course, a lot of their hair is that really tightly kept black style. And that's what I saw throughout Japan. Maybe a few kimonos and a few hakamas, which are the pants that the men wear. But then when I went in '07, the young people were starting to play with color. And I don't know if you've ever noticed yourself if you kind of darker colors and then you start to play with color, maybe you're not quite sure how to mix and match, and everybody kind of looked like a rainbow. So it tended to be very assaulting on your eyes for a while, but it was great to see them experiment because they became these little manga characters. Their hair was a color and their clothes were color, and it was just interesting. It was just an interesting experience to walk through just only 2 years later and see how they were embracing color. And now they're all about color, the young people. In fact, the older ones are kind of sad because they wonder if the younger ones are even interested in the traditions of Japan, which I just love. So there you go on my Japan number 2, only because I'm biased about number 1 being Paris, right? And I am. I think it's got some great stuff in there. It's a intimate park. Tokyo is large. Tokyo is large like Walt Disney World large. And they went all out. Their monorail is just adorable, and their buses are cute, and their restaurants are beautifully, really, they just took it up to level 12 out of 10. So if you can go there, you should go there, and you should go there because it's in Japan, and Japan is awesome. There's so much. There's a place called the Ginza that was, at least the last time I visited, all about toys and Japanese toys. So yeah. And then of course you got to go see Studio Ghibli, which I did. I went there. I wasn't about to miss Miyazaki's domain. And then I went to Tezuka because Dr. Osamu Tezuka is the father of anime, and I knew him very well, and I wanted to see his museum. They've made a museum there, and I think I've mentioned that he did a drawing for me. And again, if you have questions, you want to see this stuff, just at Leo Holzer, write to Leo, and you'll get the questions right here. Okay? All righty. Okay, I have managed to fill 28 minutes full of my nonsense. All right, so Jessica writes, and I did kind of look at these guys because there are some questions here in the back that are absolutely hilarious. And so I decided that I might jump around a little bit, and I have my trusty pen so I can check them off. But wanted to do that. So before I answer Jessica's question, Black Lives Matter. So I'm confused. I'm going to say it again. I'm confused, and I'm not going to totally say this is Black Lives Matter doing, but Uncle Ben, all right? Uncle Ben's rice is now been changed to Ben's Original. And I understand the uncle part, okay? Uncle Ben, for a lot of people of color, uncle, just not depicted well in the early years. But why remove the black man off of it? Now it's Ben's Original. Why not leave Ben on the packaging? Okay? He looked cool. He looks great. Is there an offense with the name Ben? Because I can't imagine that. He's executive level. He's very distinguished. And he's an icon. And he's an icon of color where, one of the things Black Lives Matters are saying is they want more icons of color. Well, here he is. Why take him off? That's my biggest question. Why take him off? Uncle, bye-bye, fine. Okay? But why would you take Ben away? I don't understand why you would take that man away. He looked very warm, friendly, and I just don't know. Once you drop the uncle, do you have to drop the guy's face? I don't get it. And apparently, Cream of Wheat is doing the same thing. Again, maybe with Cream of Wheat, they're just erasing the guy because he's a chef. He was a chef. Even though in today's world, guys, chefs are badass, aren't they? So, I don't know. Why is a server bad? I understand that back in the day, they weren't depicted well. People of color were not depicted well. I know this. The black half of my family was twinging, and in my body, twinging at some of the ways that a lot of these people were portrayed in the early days. It makes your teeth hurt. And then in some more recent days, like Jar Jar Binks, it's like, what were you doing with that character, right? So we get it. I get it. But now, chefs are amazing. They are rock stars. So why not? That's just my question. Maybe he doesn't have to be in the hat. Maybe he's just wearing. Or is Cream of Wheat not high enough caliber for a chef to even put his face on it? I don't know. But I think this requires more thought, not just to rip him off the front. Because I really, 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 really like, I think you need these black people representing your products. I don't know why you wouldn't do it. Same with Aunt Jemima. Jemima maybe is a name that upsets people unless you're named Jemima, but I love the name Jemima. So just call it Jemima. Jemima's Originals or Jemima's Choice. Why? Jemima's not bad. Jemima's not, This is entrepreneurship, and we all of every color are entrepreneurs, aren't we? So I'm confused. I had to say something because I'm just confused. I am. And I am mixed races. This is why I'm confused. If you put, I don't know. I don't get it. I like the picture. We're very visual people. So to just put words, is that enough in your product? If you linked it from like the Ben's Originals now, if we had that familiar face, that person who is a real person, a model for that, if we had him, a lot of us would be looking for the face. We might not remember Ben's Originals if we do it. Personally, I cook my own rice, so I don't really use the product, but I'm just saying that I tend to think of a visual picture more than a word. So, for example, goldfish. I'm looking for the fish. I'm not looking for the name. I'm looking for those cute little fish that swim across the package if I want some goldfish. So this is what I'm saying. I'm confused. Is just wanted to say that. So I wanted to say that on a public channel. I wanted to say it out there. I wanted people to understand all lives matter, Black lives matter, and oh my goodness, is this what you meant? As you go forward for stuff that you believe in, is what you're saying, what you're meaning, and is what you're saying, what we're hearing. Okay? I'm always saying when you're typing a message, a text, a post, read it 3 times. Jim Rohn, one of my greatest mentors of all times, always said, wait 3 seconds before you drive into an intersection. That was his advice to me. But it was so much more. It meant reread your emails before you send them, triple check your posts, etc., etc. Make sure what you're saying is what you really want to say, and it's what people hear. It's just good practice. It's tedious, it's annoying, and this word replace thing can really get you in trouble sometimes. So you want to make sure that you've got it. Okay? All right. Now let's have some fun. Jessica wants to see more puppets. And Jessica, I wanted to show you my Stitch puppet, but he decided to take a vacation. So I will show you some of the ideas of puppets. So my favorite thing, and I'm going to move this because this might be easier to do, or maybe I'll just do it like this. My favorite way to make puppets, and this is what Jim Henson found was adorable about Terri Hardin, was that she's all about the sock. So here is a sock, for example, a gray sock. Here it is. I should have flattened it more for you guys, but here it is. So here's the sock. You all know what a sock looks like, okay? But this is my base for 90% of the puppets that I make. It's a sock, right? And when I'm teaching children, I have a Build-A-Buddy campaign, which allows children to build a buddy that they can confine to. You know, it's their little buddy that they talk to, that they can confide in if they're having a challenge in their life. And it's been very successful. I've taught up to 400 children live. Now I've got to figure out, you know, what are we going to do now because of this thing. But what I'm trying to point out is you can have socks in all different cool colors. Take a look at that one. Isn't that fun? Here's another one. So puppets can be anything your little heart desires. I probably should have pulled out my raven. Leo put on that we can do an addendum to this, and I'll bring my raven and my little other one. So I did a retreat last year, and one of the things that I covered was puppets. From that came this little guy right here. So when we do Build-A-Buddy, here's how it works. You find your sock and you go to an adoption station. So you go to an adoption station and you adopt a sock. Okay? Kids bring in the sock that didn't get kidnapped by the dryer. So they bring in the single socks. They can put them on a table, or they can keep their sock and adopt new ones. Okay? That's how it works. Then you go over to the creation station and you look for eyes, you look for hair, you look for clothes. And then if you're very young children, we have camp counselors or whatever who are our hot glue monitors, and the child takes the sock all with their components, and they take it to them, and then the older person glues while the child micromanages. We're getting them young, right? Okay, so the first thing that I do when I'm talking about puppets is to tell you, you've got to determine what your sock is going to be. Now, what happens is with children, this part right here, this fluffy part, needs to be sewn in to create a mouth. You see? Like that, okay? But if you don't sew it, this is what happens. And we don't like that, do we? Yeah, you don't. So here, let me. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that gets sewn in. So what I'll usually do is a coffee clutch with a lot of mothers, a PTA or association. We'll get together and have coffee, and everybody will sew the mouths in. And then the adoption station has the mouths pre-sewn in. So that's how it works, okay? Then I'll show kids, here's where you can put a mouth. So we'll do something like this. Or we can turn, this is the heel. You recognize the heel? Let me put you see, now you're still seeing the sock. There's the heel. So now the other way you can do this, if I pull this off by the heel, you can see, there you go, see? So the heel was actually across my knuckles, right? But what you can do is turn it around if you want, if you're super creative, and put your thumb where that heel is. You see that? Okay. So now we have a turkey. Gobbo, 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 gobbo. And you can put eyes here and make a turkey. Yes, indeedy. So that's why I like the sock. Very flexible, very clever, right? Yep. Could be, could be any kind of a character. You just turn the sock around till you're happy, and children have no problem doing this. Adults, on the other hand, well, you're not much players sometimes, guys. So of the fruit stripe gum sock, which is what I call it, at my retreat, we all made these little characters. So he's going to illustrate for you what, and I have him here, Jessica, because he was at the retreat. He was my example. This is George. And so you can see that he has this bright, you can put clothes, a tie, anything around here. Do you like that, George? Should I not stop? Okay, keep going. So anyway, so you can put stuff here if you want, but also this just showed people the basics of a puppet you can do. So one of the things that I like are his eyes. Lean in. Oh, they're so cute. They're beads that are just sewn in, and then what you've done is you've taken the side of the sock here and made little eyelids. You see that? So you just pinch the sock, pull it over the bead, anchor it at either side, and that gives him little eyelids, right? Also, you'll notice that your fingers, this one, the one that you shouldn't isolate for obvious reasons, is your longest finger. So at the end of that, I highly recommend that you put a little pom-pom. You see, so this is and then this is just boa for his hair, so you get a lot of free animation. Well, wait a minute. Are you very happy now? Are you doing good? Okay. Okay. All right. George. Okay. All right. So lean in, George. Okay. So George's nose can wiggle because of that middle finger. Okay. Because it's the longest, the nose is butted right up against so that he can sniff. So that's one of the things that's really cute about him. And then also, if you use your fingers like this, that makes him happy, right? There he is, very happy. Your nose is crooked. Why are your nose crooked? There you go. We'll fix it. There we go. So he smiles like this to be very happy. He opens his mouth as he's really happy. If he's really, really happy, yeah. But if you move your fingers like this is why I like the sock, you got to smile. And if he frowns, then he's upset, see? That is done by this. One of the happiest things for children is to do... I'm sorry, that's the way he likes it. I can have kids do this all the time. And it's not really a good habit to teach your children, but, they're their puppets, so what are you going to say, right? So he can go like this and be upset. If he's really mad, you can make a fist. He can be insane. So this is why I like sock puppets, and this is one of my designs, which is why Jim Henson, compared to the pie plate puppets you see in a puzzle place, in a story time, in a crank anchors, their faces are restricted because they're made out of foam and they're more sculpted, designed face. And I thought I had Stitch with me, but I didn't. Now, let's say if you're someone who wants to be a little more elaborate with your puppets, well, then fine. Oh, yes. Terry, you forgot something. What did I forget? You forgot to tell them how to talk. Oh, I forgot to tell them how to talk. First of all, I'm not a ventriloquist, as you can see, but George is far more compelling and more interesting than I am. So he often... What are you doing? I'm scene stealing. I'm scene stealing. Okay, so what about manipulation in a puppet? Well, if you're like me and this is what you've done all your life, then you can talk like this and continue to talk all the time. And you can enunciate with your mouth. But what if you don't know how to do this? So this is what I taught for the next thing. People are very forgiving. And as long as when you open your mouth, your colleague, in this case, George, hello, George opens his, so, okay. So as long as you do it at the same time, you can do anything in the middle as long as at the end, open, and then when you finish, So let me demonstrate this. Yes, it's nice to see it enunciate like this. I'm sure you agree. But you can also do it like this. Hi. Yeah. Hi, my name is Terri Hardin, and it's really a great... Hi, my name is Terri Hardin, and it's really a great thing to say, but... You see? So it really doesn't have to be perfect. You can do anything in the middle and just make it sound whatever it is, and you don't even have to really enunciate. You just have to go, and then when you stop, it has to stop. Okay? Start. Hi, everyone. This is a great thing to be here, and I'm so happy to be here. But close. So you don't have to be the perfect, we're not working for Hensons here. For Hensons, you do have to enunciate. Your lip sync is essential. But if you are someone who just wants to play with puppets because that's something that you always wanted to do, remember, as long as you start with an open and end with a close, you've got this. Okay? Right? Right. And then laughing, a lot of times you'll see people go, ha, 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 ha. But we really don't laugh like that, do we? We don't go, ha, 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 ha. So many puppeteers. Ha, 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 ha. It looks kind of cute, but if you do it this way, you're going to demonstrate. You good? Okay. You do it like this. See? So that's a big deal. I've often watched puppeteers, professional as well, move the mouth, and we just don't laugh like that. So when you're laughing, and then the nice thing about a sock, and the children really love this when they do it, is when they get mad, you can make a fist and shake. See that tongue? George is basically a happy guy, so he doesn't get upset very much. No, I don't. Yeah, so anyway, that's some of the thing. You can notice this is that you can change it a million ways. And in my workshops, this is kind of the thing that we do. And then I show you how to do voices, and I show you how to animate it. Other options are these. And because Jessica was so patient, we're spending some time on her question today. So this is for you, Jessica de Rosa. So that's George. One of the other things I like to do and have done is that a lot of times I will talk to children about bullying, and a lot of children get bullied because of the way they looked. Okay? So I created this character right here. Now this is Alley Cat. He is by far my oldest puppet. He's been with me for easily 20 years. And so what I did was I took a stuffed animal. I'm not going to show you his face yet, but this is a stuffed animal of a cat that was damaged. I went to a thrift store, and I found this cat that all of the stuffing was out of him, and I took it and I stuffed the face and I made changes. You can do this too. The body is a sock. You see how he's kind of gray on the back? That's because he's faded because he watches me work all the time. But it is a sock. Okay? No different. It is a sock. And if we go to camera 2, we can show you even more that it is a sock. If we turn lights on, you can seriously, there's the sock pattern. There's the cuff that goes up your leg, and there's the heel, right? So he was made from a sock. And then I took other socks here, and this sock makes an arm, and this paw was from the stuffed animal, okay? And then I just emphasized his claws with some thread that I whip stitched. And then this is my rod, which has a little gripper on the bottom. Okay, so I can show you how to do these make these arms work. Okay, and then his head, which you can see here, is all. But we're going to show you from the back because Al's a little sensitive about showing his face. So when I would talk to children about bullying, I would say that everybody looks different and everybody can get bullied for one way or another. You can be bullied if you are beautiful. If a bully has something out for you, they just have something out for you, don't they? Okay, so Al tends to hug me very tight when I'm with kids, and I say, look, he's a little shy because he's scared, and so we have to be gentle with him, and he'll look, and then he won't. Okay, right? And the reason is shy. These guys are not going to make fun of you. So would you show them your face, please? Come on, it's okay. Go on, show them your face. Al. So you can see that Al looks very different. And Al has this buggy eye that he's very self-conscious about. Yeah, he tends to want to hide it because he gets bullied for it. And it makes him very sad, doesn't it, when you're bullied? So, Al, I'm going to talk specifics about you. This is Al, E as in Edward, cat. Al, E, cat. You picked that name, didn't you? So you may have seen Al. He does rants and stuff like that every so often. He just can't stand it. He has to take over. But you can see here, and maybe I'll put a little more light because he's a black cat. It's hard. He blends in. But now you can see here how he works. And you checking everything out? Yeah. Okay. You saying hi to everybody? Yeah. Come back here. Okay. All right. So this light is a bit harsh on there and makes it a little bit bright. And I'll turn it off in a moment. But you can see he's got a tie here. And then he's got his little paws here that help him to do his thing. Right? And then you can drop one and he can do this. You see. But this allows children to understand that he's a fun, loving, wonderful cat, and that your looks are your looks, right? You don't like your hair? Okay. So he can do cat stuff, you know, purr. You see? So if you're someone who's not so sure you could build your own puppet, you can take a stuffed animal and do that. Again, he has a tongue, and he has little felt teeth because it's children. Children tend to put their hands in the mouth of puppets. I have no idea why they do this, but they do. And then he's got his little paws, so you can, he likes to dance, so you can use both. You can use one. Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. See? So I'm the music, but he can say, staying alive, staying alive. So anyway, this is another way you can do it, and this is what I've done. He is mainly for kids to understand that no matter how you look, you're very, very special. Oh, thank you. You can make them shy just by your hand. They can be very shy. You sad today? Why? You can tell. So there's that. He can be angry. You see? Or he can be happy. You see? So the hand, for me, is a great way for expression. You know? You should be on a TikTok video. I should. Because you're a dancer. I don't want to do the dancing, but you're a good dancer. Yes, I am. You see, so he's very good. Opposite? Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. So like I said in the very beginning of this video, and don't freak, they don't mind me taking them off that way, is that this little character is a perfect example of recreating, this tag is huge, of recreating a puppet. I would do this one. I would animate his little wings. I've got to get rid of this tag, guys. Once you pull a tag off, he's adopted, right? Oh, I'm sorry. That was just driving me crazy. Do you mind? No? Okay, good. All right, so you can already see that by twisting his head, he gets a lot of personality by making it go like this, right? So it could be very cool to operate the mouth and turn the head and whatever. And maybe if I have time to do that, I will show you. But then maybe make Rod the wings so that they could do something too, you know, so that he could flap them, you know, or something. And the tail is very expressive. Plus, he's like, ah, you know, he could bite this and spin, you know. So anyway, when I saw this from Diane Embaum and the Golden Gate Disneyana group, I just thought this was adorable because how cute is that, right? That is just, yeah. So there he is, and you can see that he's got tons of animation qualities, you know, right? And then, you know, this would be cute for the body. There is actually a stitch here that I would cut so that we'd have more of this. I know this is his animated pose, but I would cut that and make that, you know, so that he could move. You see? So this is what I'm talking about. And you don't have to buy premium quality stuff like this unless you want to. A lot of stuffed animals are neglected at a thrift store, and that's, you adopt them and you repurpose them and mix and match them, and they love being adopted. They can be, I've done puppets like that for a long time, you know, so that's the idea, right? Okay, what? Oh yes, of course. My pumpkin show is this Sunday, episode 2. Thank you. I know, right? My pumpkin show is this week, Sunday, so be sure and see me judge. And also, I want to tell you that I'm going to be doing some Zoom classes. I'm setting up the website right now so you can sign up. They will probably be happening during the week before Halloween. So in one way or another, we're going to have this Halloween thing. The only reason I'm not giving you exact dates and exact times is because many of you want to buy the tool sets I have, and I want to make sure I can get them. With COVID-19, I'm a little low on tool sets. So I want people from all over the world to be able to do this if you want to do this. And the tools are easily accessible, but we'll do it so you can order them and maybe get them to you quickly. Okay? So that being said, I will be doing the class. It'll be a Zoom course. It'll be $20 a person to come and do it. And we are going to pretty much do it. It's at least going to be 2-3 hours long for you. But if you can do it faster, you don't have to stay. And if you want to stay a little longer, you can. Okay? So I want you to know this because that's coming up. And you can see what type of sculpting I teach and do by watching the Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkin Show. There's the plug. By watching the Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkin Show with me as the judge. And first episode was last Sunday. It's on 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, but then it reruns here in California, at least in the Pacific time, again at 10. So I don't know if it does that on the East Coast, but I do know it shows twice here. Food Network. So please check it out because it's a lot of fun. And all of these contestants are doing their own work. So if you're an aficionado of those shows where people are, you know, doing stuff, this show, I can tell you, the one thing I can tell you without spoiling it is every single contestant is doing every bit of work themselves. Okay? They are not having fairies come in or elves come in the middle of the night and finishing their work. That's not happening with them. They are actually doing A to Z everything. And so it's a great show to see their talents being done and what they have to manage. What can they do in the time allotted? And they have that exact time. If we say 6 hours, they have 6 hours, is what I'm saying. Okay, but it's a great show. It's very upbeat. It's a lot of fun, and I really hope you'll tune in. Okay, because it's good. It's really good. Okay, so there's that. You can also take something like this Tigger, which is a beanbag character, and he can be the same. This would be more of a finger puppet, maybe, you know, and in miniature, but you have the option to do that too. Also, if you're a fan of stringed puppets, I happen to have a marionette, except for he's over there and I don't have a camera pointing over there, but that I walked with for the breast cancer walk for 60 miles. The puppet did. I did 60 miles like this, doing the marionette, which is the strings puppet you may know about. He could easily be that as well because his body is flexible enough that you could put strings and make him do his thing. You could animate his little tail and you could make his head tilt. He's already got the stuff a cute marionette could be made out of. And he'd only be, you know, I think I would keep the strings kind of tight. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Team America, which it's all marionettes. And it's from the guys who did South Park. They said that it was a nightmare. That's because the strings were 15 feet long or more, 20 feet long. And anytime the strings get longer, it's a nightmare. So the tighter, you get more response, you know. Whereas if they get longer, there's sway. You follow? There's sway if it's a long set of strings. So I would keep them kind of short, maybe 3 feet if you want to have him down to your feet. But if you want to do him for a video, you just need to do it like this. And honestly, I don't think anyone would mind you do the controls because people love to do that. There's an amazing, there's several amazing puppets on here, and one guy uses his hand and does a little bird, and it's so adorable. So the hand, understand, the hand is the one of the greatest animation tools because God made it, and it responds when you think. Anytime you do something mechanical, it can be very cool, but it's never going to beat the human hand when it comes to puppets like this. You can do eyes that blink, that your hand can trip up and stuff, but honestly, that's why I like the sock, because I don't like to lose all of this movement. You see, I've got this, and I don't, it's one of those things. And that's what Jim liked about my characters, was that they were very expressive, like the Foster Farms chickens that you know I do. So I designed the original characters for that. They now are Rick Lazarini's to continue to do, but I was with Rick Lazzarini when I designed those characters, and they were voted on as being the mascots for Foster Farms Chicken. But then he's gone on to make them do incredible things like walking, and he does a Boone Raku style that we wear, that they are full-size chickens walking. That was all designed by Rick Lazzarini and his team. So it's been wonderful to see it explode into what it is. I'd love to see more commercials be done, but we'll have to see, won't we? Things they are changing, but there you go. So I know I spent some time on this, but I wanted to, you know, Jessica has waited so long for me to answer this question, and last time I didn't have my puppets, so this time I did. And although I didn't have Stitch, which I did for Bob Gurr, and an auction, I do them for auctions sometimes. And one of the things that a marionette is really great for is if you want incredible likenesses. So one of the things that I'll probably do is a full-on detailed Maleficent puppet, you know, but she'll be a marionette. You know, you can make them hand puppets, but, you know, it really depends on how accurate you want to get, you know, and a marionette, especially if it's for a collector who's going to not necessarily really puppeteer it, but they like the idea of having a puppet, so it poses on the strings, kind of, you know, like this, so that it's like that, and then maybe they can take a hand and it can do this, or maybe the queen is holding the box and you see the strings, so you can bring the box. You can keep it simple movements, you know, that they can do, with the character. You know, if it's for a collector, it's going to be very different than it's for a professional puppeteer. The thing about marionettes is 9 strings is usually the norm, 2 hands, each side of the head, a center. Sometimes they talk, and then a walk, and one at the rump so that they can bow and stuff like that. The reason, but if you are a professional, this is what I was trying to say, forgive me. If you are a professional puppeteer, then a marionetteer, then what happens is that you like to, you may do more strings. So when I was at Genieland at 16, they were tons of professional people who did marionettes for theaters, and they had 100 strings, they had 150 strings, and their puppets did magnificent things. But I just looked at that as, you know, if that thing falls, you're in some serious tangle trouble. So I kind of just stick with 9. It's kind of my thing to just do the basics because hand puppets are my favorite. Then there's a rod puppet, one that uses a stick. So for example, with this little sweet guy here, he could have a rod up in his neck here and turn, you know, and then you could do a mechanism that actually tilts his head and does this because your hand isn't going to fit in there, is it? So he might have something that comes out the bottom that actually operates his neck turning, his head tilt like this, you know, maybe this. But you can see that he just really lends himself to being a little puppet, doesn't he? Just really cute. Thank you to the Golden Gate Disneyana Club and Diane Embaum for sending this along because I'm already having fun with him. All right, let's get past 2 questions, shall we? The time currently is 10:27, and we usually I go much longer, but I'll try to end at 11 today in case you guys have lives. But anyway, so the next one is anyone can be a teacher. What's something you learned for a child? Everyone can be a teacher. What's something you learned for a child? Bullying. So as a puppeteer, I was always playing. I actually built a lamb chop, thank you, Sherry Lewis, to help me when I was bullied. Because sometimes you want to talk to a character, you want to talk to somebody like this, and you want to test it out before you talk to your parents. Okay? So that little character was someone I confided in. That was Lamb Chop. So when I was a teacher, I went and taught kids puppetry, but then I saw that one child was not participating, and I realized that they felt not part of the group. And a lot of times that can be in your head, but when you're a child, you tell them it's in their head, they don't even know what that means. So I found that the puppet was a great gateway to opening a child's heart. And I also wanted to teach teachers how to use puppets to help a child speak and talk. This is why my Build-A-Buddy plan really works. I want to work on a course that they could take where they could have it in their classrooms if you ever get back into classrooms. But you could have it in your classroom and you could actually teach it yourself. You could purchase the kit from me and then teach it yourself as a teacher. And one of the things that's wonderful about being a teacher is you learn too, don't you? You teachers out there, this is your secret. And this is one of the beautiful things about being a teacher. Okay, so this says, what physical thing, I'm going to skip one because it's long. I'm going to do some of these shorter ones that I saw because I kind of cheat sheeted yesterday. What physical thing do you miss that's becoming obsolete or that's become obsolete in the past 40 years? One of the things that I miss. So many. But I have a classic telephone. I miss the classic telephone. And they used to work, but it's hard for them to work now because of cell phones. But I can still have a landline. A landline is something that actually has a phone and you pick it up and hello, and not a cell phone. But I do miss that. I miss that, and I have that. I would say I miss pen and paper, but I still use it. I'm a pen and paper gal. So So I still like to work on pen and paper, but I do see the efficiency of digital drawing, and it took me a long time to draw digitally, but I'm starting to learn. The Wacom company is responsible for that because I realized that if I had a iPad or a Cintiq, as they're called, and you draw right on the screen with the benefit of layers, they can keep up with your thinking. You can draw as fast as you think by bouncing through layers. And before you know it, you've created a whole story in minutes because you are moving so fast. So that's one of the things I really, 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 really love. I miss the Helms Bakery truck. As a kid, there used to be this Helms Bakery truck, this yellow truck. And what you would do is they would give you what was called a donut card, and it had an H. And you set it in your window, and the truck would go, and it would drive by, right? And if it saw the H, it stopped in front of your house. And then you walked out, and they had these gorgeous oak drawers that pulled out. And yeah, I'm a little lagged, but that's because my computer's getting hot. So just bear with it. You would pull out see, we're back. You pull out the oak drawers. So they were oak drawers. And if you've ever seen oak, it's one of the most beautiful woods in the world. And in each little compartment were these amazing donuts that Helms created, twists and cake and all different kinds. And he would you'd point, and you were in the back. Oh, it was just dream. And we used to get milk delivered in the little container, in the glass bottles. Some had a little bubble at the top that separated the cream, so you could get the cream out first before you had the milk. I miss that terribly. I miss it a lot. Loved it. So yes, those are some of the things that I really, really like that I miss that just don't happen in a gas station attendants. We have a few here that people come and they put your gas in for you. Really helped my mother when she was driving, because she will not put gas in her own car ever. So there is a little station near my house where they pump the gas it says, ladies, we pump the gas for you. And it's just lovely. In fact, they do it for my father because he has a little trouble getting around sometimes. He has a walker. So they'll do it for him too. So it's not just ladies, but that was kind of their grabber when they did it. And they would pump the gas for you. With COVID-19, I don't know how it works now, but my parents love that. And it's nice to be treated that way. I miss people being able to say goodbye and hello at the airport, that they have to stay away. They can't be at your gate like they used to be. Sometimes they'll give you special permission. So when the veterans of World War II were being honored, they had some veterans being honored, and they were flying in, and they allowed groups of people to cheer them on because they were like 100 years old or something, and they were very, very special, and they were all, it was just so cool. I happened to be getting off a plane when they were being applauded and stood in the crowd and celebrated. Now, who knows? But at the time, they were allowed to do that, and I miss people being able to say goodbye. So there's been some great kisses, guys, at the gate. I'm just saying. So I miss that. That's obsolete. And now, how are we going to fly? How are we going to be safe? Our plane's going to get up in the air the way that they did before? We don't know. However, I really think more than a vaccine, and definitely this fever thing cracks me up, because asymptomatic people don't have a fever, so what does this do? Nothing. But anyway, they have disease-sniffing dogs. I read about these dogs that could detect cancer, and I thought, this is wonderful. So when they started to talk about training dogs to smell COVID-19, that even can happen when you're asymptomatic. So this is the most promising, I think, is to have a fella with a dog as you get on, and that dog checks you out. Bam, good. You know, you don't have to take a test that's in your nose and all of that. You got a dog. You got a really good sniffing dog. I think that is genius, and they're starting to do it in countries, and I think that's really the brilliant thing. So I'm excited about that. But those are the kind of things that I miss, and continue to be. But what's on the other side of that? What is cool that has happened? Commercial space flight. Who would have thought, right? So exciting. It's so exciting. SpaceX program and that dragon, it's named Dragon. Of course, I love it. But wow. Just, it's made 2020 palatable for me, is to watch the NASA channel and to watch things that are going. And now Tom Cruise is going into space. You know, some people have all the luck. He's going to film in space. I mean, come on. I don't know whose idea that was. Probably Tom's, because he's probably like me. He wanted to be in space. Pretty genius. Makes me want to be an actor, and makes me want to say, hey, part of the criteria is, can I go visit the space station? I would love that. I would absolutely lose my mind, because seeing Earth from space is a bucket list thing that I've kind of thought has to happen by watching the NASA channel. Thank goodness for the NASA channel, because I would have never seen Earth from space. And now I can watch it almost 24/7 if I want. So on the other end, although we are sacrificing things, we are getting new things. You know, 3D printing, which I absolutely hate, but I don't mind hiring others to 3D print. Did you see that they 3D printed a house? How cool is this? And the guy said, what did he say? He can get it done in like a month, a whole house. And he's going to be 3D printing 3-bedroom houses. He did the little studio. So cute. Google 3D printed houses, guys. They are darling. They are darling. And so 3D printing, something that was not around 40 years ago, or if it was, it sucked. So although I don't like doing it, I love hiring someone else to do it. You know, now social media. In 1977, when I toured the world, I had to try and make a phone call that cost $1,000. Now we just pick up a smartphone, or we Zoom. You know, I've got different countries listening to me now. This is glorious. This is amazing. I can stream things I want to watch. You know, theaters have lounge chairs in them. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. There's a lot of great things that are happening. So there's things that are gone that I miss, but things that are coming that I love. So it's an even trade-off, isn't it? And although I'm a purist, so it's an excellent question. It's fantastic. So there's a topical question that asks me, what are my coping mechanisms with when the world has all kinds of awful? I'm just saying, you just find something fun to do, and then give the message out. So did you see Oscar the Grouch Wear a Mask campaign? If you haven't, Google it. It's adorable, and it's lovely. I'm telling you, puppets are power. I should have that. Puppets are power. Yeah, puppets are amazing. And the Oscar the Grouch is fantastic. So in a world where things are my coping mechanisms is to Google creativity. I saw one the other day. Leo told me one about pumpkin pie. It was a mathematical joke involving pumpkin pie. And it was hilarious. And Leo, you should post it in these comments. It was hilarious. So I love jokes. I have a guy named Glenn Campbell, not the singer, but we worked on several films together, and he's always sending me very interesting things. And one of the things he sent me was a Star Trek one that said, if you're not going to wear a mask, put on a red shirt. I just loved it. So when you're trying to cope, just find stuff that makes you laugh. Laughter is the healer. And for me, it's kick butt movies. Yeah. So I'm watching a lot of Zatoichi. My friend next door is an animator, and it turns out he likes Zatoichi as well. And so we were actually talking about how we watch it over and over and over again because Zatoichi, the blind swordsman, is so good. It's one of the first Japanese sword type movies that I've ever seen where the guy does not get the girl. And a lot of samurai movies, the guy gets the girl, he doesn't treat the girl very well, he leaves the girl, or he protects the girl, or whatever, but he always gets the girl. Whereas Ichi doesn't really, and it's not that the women don't want him, it's just that he knows that his life is that of a gambler, and people are always trying to kill him, so he doesn't want to be vulnerable and feels that he's a cripple and stuff. Oh, it's just beautiful. It's just so much art. Love it, love it, love it. My husband knows because I've watched it like 5 million times, so much that I don't even need to look at it anymore. I know what the language is saying. Nani, one of my favorites, which is what? Nani? Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great. So that's a coping mechanism. And the other one is coming and seeing you guys. Because I get to hear about you guys. I get to learn about you, all of you. My Patreon page is a rockin' page. It's a page that people come together. They talk about that we talk about art. We talk about what we're doing. We talk about our successes. One of my patrons over there, Ron Kubala, has been accepted. His art has been accepted into the Disney Family Museum because another patron posted that they were calling artists. They were looking for artists for a special show they're doing, and Ron Kubala stepped into the plate and got picked. So he shared his art with us. He thanked us all for sharing it, and then we have spotlights. Liz Reed, the amazing Liz Reed, who is from the UK. She is a runner. She's known for her running on Facebook. She has lots of things she talks about. Her Disney visits. She's a blogger, blah, blah, blah. But did you know she's also a martial artist? So here's the kind of stuff I get really excited about in the spotlight, where we feature you and you tell me something I might not know about you. I love it. Please check it out. You're gonna just love it. You're gonna just trust me. I have the basic level there simply because I want your voice to be a part of it. For as little as $5 a month, you guys are in, and we have a lot of fun in there. It's just, honestly, I urge you to come and join us and put your voice in, because it'll lift any spirit, because everyone there is so generous. Everybody there has got good stuff to say, upbeat stuff to say. They support each other. They help each other. They show their art if they're artists. They help you with your art if you're a wannabe artist, or if you're passionate about what you love, from being an accountant to being a floor sweeper to being maybe a manager at McDonald's. If this is what you love, we talk about our passions, right? And an artist is someone who's passionate about what they do, no matter what it is. Okay, you don't have to be a painter or a sculptor. I know a lot of you think that's what artist means. That's not the case. It's he or she who is passionate about what they do. That is an artist. You understand that if you clean a bathroom yourself, let me say that again. If I do, I'm going to clean it because I want to get back to my sculpting table and finish my work. But people like the Merry Maids or people like that come in to clean your house are passionate about having a cleaning. That's their palette. That's the way they paint. And let me tell you something. If I have a group like that come into my home, they clean the bathrooms and my house so spotless, it's cleaner than when I bought the house. They are magical men and women, and they just blow me away. They find dirt where I didn't even know there was a spot to catch it. But they are artists as well, are they not? They are, because they take pride in what they do and they're passionate about what they do. It's just, what is your choice? A first responder, a nurse, of firemen, the passionate firemen. You don't think these firemen are passionate about fighting these fires? How would we be if we were fighting these fires? And I'm not talking about protecting your home. I'm talking about fighting fires in general, just stopping the fire. You know, it's hot out there. It's smoky out there. You're wearing heavy gear. Are you not the greatest firefighting badass artist in the universe? You're going to tell me they're not artists? How they figure, how they get in front of the fire, how they anticipate how they're going to stop the fire. It's hot, it's uncomfortable. They got to be careful not to get trapped by the fire. Artists. I'm just saying, this is what the name of artists are. And these are some of the things that we talk about and explore and have fun doing on this Patreon page. So I really want you to consider joining us because it's tons of time. It's tons of fun time. Also, I have a YouTube channel, so please go there, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you can know when the new things are happening. Yes, I'm not as consistent on there yet, but I am working on it. And so if you would do that for me, I would love it. I also have a website, terrihardin.com. Go there. That is getting better each and every day. I am working on that. Can you believe it? I should be that character with all the arms because boy, would life be a lot easier if I could do that. But more is happening. And so you can do that. Let me... This is where you find out about the pumpkin show. The pumpkin show is amazing. The contestants are phenomenal, and they're doing their own work. So go here. This will tell you about the show. Then it will guide you over to the Food Network so you can learn about the contestants, all right? Privacy is key. So there you go. Okay? Yay! Okay. And the ghosts, someone was asking me before if the Hitchhiking Ghosts were for sale. Not yet. Okay, not yet. We're still working on them. So there was somebody's asking about the chess set. It is still up in here because we're working on ghosts right now. So I'm sculpting the ghosts, and you'll see more of the ghosts on Monday. You will not get to see my art proof number 2. So art proof number 1 came across the board. I made some revisions, and I saw number 2. Now we are perfecting number 2. I will buy off on number 2, Ezra number 2, and he will be my example for you. And then, so pre-sale could start as early as the first week of October, and then you would be getting them in November. Okay? So you order them, we build them, you get them. Okay? Yes! They're actually happening. For those of you who have waited 2 years or more for the ghosts, they're actually happening. They are going to be more pricey than the original price quoted, but I'm working on some options for that. This is one of the reasons we're taking our time. Just want to make sure when they launch, everybody can get them that wants them as much as possible. But they are looking amazingly beautiful. I am so proud of them. Honestly, guys, they look like a little ghost in your cabinet. So you guys are going to love them. I will tell you that the challenge with the Rolly Crump chess set is he wants each chess piece to be about this big. Okay? We've talked about this before. If he insists on that, I don't know if there's a market for it. What we may have to do is discuss how would we market these so that people, if we do the entire chess set and the board, we're talking a lot of money. We're talking probably around 10, 15 grand per. I mean, a lot of money. So that's why I would rather have it smaller. Boards could be more, refined, but I don't know if Rolly will buy off on it. So we're talking, but we'll see. We haven't actually talked yet. I've been working to get a better way to communicate with Rolly, so it's not so challenging for both of us. But that's the latest on that. Yes. Michael Roman asks, hello, Michael. Michael Roman asks, 2 different colors, yes, in the chess set. Black and white, probably. Black versus white, yeah. Because Rolly really likes that, it's the theater of the weird, so he really likes He likes that. That's going to be a given, I think. But they are going to be extremely detailed because Haunted Mansion really didn't do justice to a lot of his work, and that's because they were trying to build it big and durable. And Rolly's stuff is very fragile and delicate. But anyway, Michael, Pixar movie and why? I thought a lot about this one. Pixar has some great films. Great films. And I love characters in various films. But as far as A to Z loving a Pixar film, it has to be The Incredibles. From the time I sat down and saw the first frame to the last frame, I thought The Incredibles #1 was brilliant. I thought the directing was brilliant. I thought the story was brilliant. I thought everything was brilliant. I also like Toy Story 1. Toy Story 2 is a little painful for me. And then I didn't watch the other ones. They just didn't interest me that much. But 1 is very definitely good. If we look at Up, I loved the first 20 minutes of Up, 30 minutes of Up, where the two are together because it looks like Lindsay and I. My hair stuck up every direction, and I was crazy like the girl. And then my husband was a lot like the old man character. And so that really made me cry through the whole film because I saw my husband and myself. So I love that, and I love Doug the dog. I thought Doug the dog was great, and I love the little kid. But as you get into the movie, it starts to get really weird and strange and loses track of itself. Things start happening that shouldn't have happened. Things, 1 minute the dogs are acting one way, and then the next minute they seem to have miraculously got the ability to do it. It just near the end, the middle and end, no. I love the bird. I love all of the cute things that have to do with the little boy and the dog. But when you get to see the person that is supposed to be the dream creator and all of that stuff, it just gets too weird. It's just the end is just not. It doesn't pay off well. So it was not a choice for me. But I will say that Incredibles from A to Z is great. So I would have to say that's the one that I like the best. If you guys have ones that you like, feel free to post them in the comments and we can discuss them. Because it's fun to have, but what did you think about this? And I liked it because of this. And I'll say, well, that's why I didn't like it. And then maybe you say, yeah, and then you do it with love. Debating is fine as long as you don't get personal. So those are my favorite. Michael wants to know what my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie is. Oh, yeah. So many. I love Psycho and the Birds. Yes, I do. When I was a kid, I used to watch all those nature fights back, Empire of the Ants, them, Night of the Lepus, where the rabbits attack. That's funny. And then Frogs. Frogs is like totally weird, but the frogs don't really attack, but they sort of mentally make nature attack abusive people. Anyway, anything that involves a giant animal attacking, I really, really love. So, the birds was not a giant animal attacking, but they were animals. And if the birds decided to be aggressive, that would be really, really scary. In fact, my favorite shot is when the Tippi Hedren character is smoking, and then you look at her and she's got a few crows on the jungle gym, and then the next thing you look, there's a few more, and then finally she takes a smoke and she watches a crow fly over, and then the jungle gym is covered, and it's terrifying. It's really, really scary. There are some weird edits in that movie, though. I'm not quite sure what Hitchcock was thinking, and some of the cuts that he does in The Birds are totally weird, including Tippi Hedren going. It's really strange, but I love it for that as well. I think any movie that makes me go, Tippi, don't go up, don't go up, don't do that. Any movie that makes you say, don't do that, don't open it, don't go there, don't get in the truck, is a fun movie to do because it's suspenseful. There's quick cuts of blood. It doesn't, linger. So I like that. I like it more about suspense than gore. I think I've mentioned that before. So Hitchcock was all about suspense, and I thought that it was great. Psycho is phenomenal. Psycho is absolutely phenomenal. And it just, oh, mother! It just, first time you see it, it's a mind blower. And I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's in black and white. Black and white is a have me at hello moment. So I love black and white, and I think it's just fantastic. So if it's a black and white, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to jump in and check it out. I don't care. Even if it's bad, I'm going to see it at least one time first, because black and white is so amazing to me. There was a movie last year that was in the Academy Awards. I think it was last year. That had black and white, but it was digital black and white, and that was very cheesy. I could tell right away it wasn't the actual film black and white, because digital black and white doesn't have the rich blacks and the rich grainy grit that I love about black and white. And then there was a movie called The Lighthouse that absolutely did, and it was unbelievable to see that movie. Strange movie, but so cool. Every frame was art. And so, wow, even though the movie was weird and strange, it was gorgeous to watch, and you just couldn't take your eyes off the screen. My opinion, of course. So as we close, I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Watch my show on the Food Network. Listen to what she's saying here. My show. Watch the pumpkin sculpting show, Outrageous Pumpkins. It's not my show. It's everybody's show, but you're going to get to see some amazing people, and the judges. I'm a judge on it. I love it. I think it's really beautifully shot. It's very interesting to watch, and these people are multi-talented. If you saw it last week, you saw that happening, and that's just the beginning. So I hope you'll tune in for all the episodes. And you know how the Food Network works. If you miss one, they're going to show it just before they launch the new episode. So episode 1 will play before episode 2, so you don't have to worry. You're going to see it. And you can always DVR it if you have that ability, but it's lovely. If you're streaming, look for the Food Network. Food Network has their own channel. You can stream that Food Network channel. Just look it up on foodnetwork.com, okay? And I'm teaching pumpkin classes. More on that at the next Ask Me Anything, or maybe even sooner. Monday I might announce it. I'm actually just kind of waiting for my friends across the pond to let me know what their work schedules are, and they say they're getting it in the last week of September. So I want to be sure I schedule something for people across the pond, because a lot of times, you guys, it's late for you to watch it during this time, and you may not want to be sculpting a pumpkin after, but you guys are going to let me know. So please do that, and then I will lock in the dates, lock in the times, show you where to get the tools, everything you're going to need. I will tell you, for only $20 via Zoom. Is it going to be weird? Nah, it's not going to be weird. It's just that I can't actually stand in front of you and take your hand and show you the angle, which is something I love to do when I'm teaching it live. But this year we can't do that. So we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be safe and do it via Zoom. So if you're interested, please say you are in the comments, or hit me up on Messenger or something, as I would love to hear from you. You can leave a comment at the YouTube channel, those you guys at YouTube, and so on and so forth. Now, as you know, with my Ask Me Anythings, I then go to the comments. So if you have stuff to do, you have a life, it is now officially 11. And so more questions. Leo keeps it good, but I kind of jumped around because I wanted you to, just wanted you to have some little, want to keep it upbeat. And the puppet question, thank you, was so good. Was so fun, right? Yes, it was. So now I'm just going to go now, and those of you who want to stay, feel free to stay. I'm going to read your comments and talk to you, because so many of you have said how much you enjoy seeing that strip at the bottom with your picture and your name. So we're going to go do that. And depending on how many of you there are, it could take some time. So if you've got to go, I love you. Do something nice for people. And if you want to stay and see your comment on here, I'm going to do that right now. So, but do something nice for someone else, and that automatically will lift your melancholy spirits. It'll take it off of you and put it onto someone else and make you, it's amazing how well it makes you feel better. So love on. It doesn't need to take money to do that. You don't have to spend money. You just have to do something kind of nice, okay? So it might just be giving a mask to someone who doesn't have one. You know, that probably would cost money though, huh? But just make a phone call to someone you haven't talked to. That doesn't cost anything now. It's not like when I was a kid. Okay, guys. So if you're leaving, I love you. Bye-bye, and I'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend. If not, let's get to these comments and see what y'all are saying. Here we go. Alrighty. So we have a lot of good mornings. We're going to start with, Joseph. So, Joseph, this is the one I started with cachets today. This is Joseph, the person who ordered all different kinds of my cachets. And so I want to make sure he gets a consistent number. But that was done for you today, Joseph, and I'm glad that you were here. Yay! That was good. Michael Clark, he says, watched you on the Pumpkin Judging Show and told Mom that you and I were thinking alike. Yes, indeed, that is true. We talked a little bit about that, and yes, indeed. And what I will promise to do for you guys is once the show is over, I can talk a lot more freely. But I don't want to do a spoiler. I don't want to spoil it for you. And also, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, my take, only mine, that I can talk to you about at that point. But not now. Here we are, Michael. And Michael Joseph Leslie, this is my mentor in all things cachet. And he is the one that is helping me to better understand these subscription things. So that's why, Joseph, I was saying they all need to be, every one needs to be your same number. And that's why the first 16 are taken, because they have the dragons at the front. So don't know if people who bought the dragons will want the rest. But like Michael says, we've got to keep them intact until we reach out to them and find out. So, don't you have different LE numbers depending on the series? Of the cachets, yes and no. The names of the stamps, for example, the dinosaur stamps are Tyrannosaurus Rex stamps. So they would be limited edition from 1 to whatever. And then the dragon stamp is limited edition from 1 to whatever. So my subscribers, let's say if I'm fortunate, I have 10 subscribers, and then maybe people are just subscribing to 1 envelope or 2 envelopes or whatever, and then it's kind of different. But the thing, basically, that's the way it works. They subscribe and they want everything that I produce. I don't know why they would, but, you know, tastes are different. But this is what Michael MJ Leslie is teaching me, is why this is so important in the stamp world. So until I know better, I don't break up those series from 1 through 16. I just do it. But to answer your question, Leo, it's the series is based on what stamp is on the cachet. So that's what makes them different. You still have 1 through whatever, but so there's lots of number 3s, there's lots of number 4s, there's lot, etc. But it's all about it's all the same 1 through whatever based on what it is being depicted on the envelope or postcard. Hello there. I'll bet you Bella's there. So hello, everyone, in case Bella did not go to bed yet. 128. So Michael Joseph says 128 hand-drawn, hand-painted would probably kill her. She said go big or go home. So 128. You can see that I seem to not have that number in my head. Maybe because it's painful. But drawing by hand 128 envelopes, and you have to make sure each is as close to the other as possible in painting and whatever. Now there is, just because we're human, variations. But yes, that's that's the thing. And I don't see myself doing that much again, which is what makes them the cost that they are and going up all the time. What size frame do you use for cachets? It depends on the envelope. Many stamp cachet first day covers collectors like the little 6.75 inch envelopes. And here's another thing, Michael. They don't like the gum on the back, that seals it. That we have special envelopes that have no gum when we're illustrating them. And the reason we do that is because that gum can discolor and therefore cause discolorations in the envelope. People don't like that on an envelope. So no gum. Now, the ones that you have for Walt and Ward are a 10-inch, actually 9 7/8 or something crazy. And those have a different frame. So you can put them, these ones, the 9s, they're only 4, I think, tall. So an 8x10 sideways would probably frame your Transcontinental Railroad stamps really, really nice with not much play, right? So those two envelopes would work really, really well in a frame like that. Or you could do my dragons, would also be very nice in an 8x10, but you would, place them 2, 2, 2, and have 4 maybe. With a nice mat around them would be very nice also. If you were going to do my 8 envelopes, there'd be 4 frames, 2 each. Or, black and white and the color ones going. That's the way I would frame them if I had them in my studio, and maybe I'll do that. That's actually a good idea. It made me think about it. I'm really glad you could join us, Dennis. I'm so excited to see you here. And if you've left, I'm still excited to see you here if you come back and listen later. When you ordered the railroad, so Joseph says, when I ordered the railroad cachet, you added them to the stores. The others weren't listed on the site for sale yet. No, they were not. You are absolutely right. You have no confusion. You did great. You weren't worried. It's just I wanted you to know you were going to get the same numbers because Michael says, this number is now your number. You get right to first refusal of that number. Joseph, that's what that means. And I know you're not worried about the same as the others. This is a stamp collector thing. And I still don't quite understand it, which is why Michael is going to be telling me about it. And the numbering system you'll see on the back is also really interesting. And many stamp collectors tell me you don't have to get that detailed, but I'm detail oriented, so I want to do it right the first time. If you are the ultimate cachet collector and you're not, like a Disney cachet collector is going to be different than an ultimate cachet collector. I guess you could be an ultimate cachet collector that collects Disney, Michael Luzzy, but this is why he's my mentor, because he takes care of it. You do not mess it up. So, this is why I did these. I did these larger editions because honestly, what I have to tell you is that I started out, Joseph, with this mega 128 envelope cachet, and then I charged a very high price for it because it was my first cachet, and it was all hand drawn, hand painted, and it's 128 of these crazy things. So being introduced to a classic stamp collector group where many of their cachets go between $20 and $40, let's say, they were really not happy with me. To be honest with you, they thought I was kind of, that's what they were thinking. How dare this girl come in and ask what she asked? But I'm coming from 2 camps. I'm coming from the Imagineering camp. I'm coming from, this is my first cachet, this is why I did it. Because I wanted to charge a high price if I was going to do this. Go big or go home. And I've already sold 4 sets, so it's working. So sometimes you're going to get people go at you. You just got to let them go at you, But I will listen to Michael as far as what he's saying about cachets because he's my coach. And there's another amazing coach as well who's a collector, and he's giving me mostly the history of it. And Bob Lewin, but it's different. Some feel you can play a little bit, some feel you can't. You can. It's watercolory as to how accurate these envelopes need to be, but you should learn it right, and then you can be watercolory later, right? Learn it right first, and then make your changes later. So, hi, Bianca. Nice to say that. Joseph also says it's amazing. I've been going once or twice a year. Love to visit there or Paris someday. When you're there, absolutely. I was planning on going there, Joseph, but as you know, this year had other plans. Look at Rachel Lopez Key, cute little picture. Have you seen anyone happier? That is adorable. There's Diane. Make a video of you working with the samurai sword. Yes, or the bullwhip, right? Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that would be an interesting video. I have not picked up my katana in a long time, mainly because this has been these have been my katanas right now as I work my samurai magic on the Hitchhiking Ghosts. That's been kind of my whirlwind thing, but I will consider it, Diane, as with the bullwhip, which is pretty amazing. Me as Catwoman doing that. Leo says, just send the questions to him. So if you have questions, and while I was doing this talking, I was talking about various levels of things in my life that crossed through my head. Like when I was talking about puppets, my first puppetry job, I was a marionette artist, which landed me a job with Tony Urbano, one of the finest puppeteers in the in the world, but the West Coast is where I was introduced to him. Jim knows him. Jim knew him. Jim loved him, and they were Jim was East Coast and Tony was West Coast, but Tony taught me a lot about marionettes, and Tony Urbano, and it was magnificent. And then Jeannie of Genieland, where I worked when I was 16 years of age. So it was kind of fun. I can understand, really, my half black side and people of color side understands the uncle part, okay? That, for some people, it has got a derogatory meaning. Okay, fine. But why get rid of the picture? That's what's got me confused. I don't get it. So, Angie, you may be late for a very important date, but luckily you can watch the rest later. So I'm glad you made it. I'm so glad you made it. You just made my day brighter. Thank you, Trisha Noble. And look how cute your picture is. I like this as much as you guys do because I can see your pictures. My husband says, you go long when you do this, but if you're someone who doesn't like it, I always warn you so you can go have a life if you don't want to do this part. But I like this part. So this is the part that I like, Even YouTube says your viewership goes down. Hey guys, I know, but I still like doing it. If you like doing it, it's not all about that. You want to make sock puppets as my team members since I am working from home. Yes, I think you would love this. And it's so simple. Angie, did you see how simple it is? It's so simple. You can do it from found objects around your house. Socks, they should be clean, but unless you're trying to make a statement. But you want to do a bad luck schlep rock, or I guess he was always carrying dirt and dust with him, or that, was there a stinky character in Fat Albert, I think maybe. Anyway, you could do any kind of character that you wanted to do, and it's very easy. You saw just a couple of whip stitches each side of the mouth. You can pull I didn't really show it on this sock, but I'll show it again, that you can put into the mouth like this and then stitch on either side so that it stays in there while he talks. And then this part can be the socket for the eyes, you see? So you can put those beads in there. That's what I did with George, and that's how. You can see, you can actually visualize him now. So once this is in there, you can visualize him. I also did a great shark, but my shark's been on vacation forever. I don't know what happened to him. I think he's secretly in a jacket pocket somewhere, hibernating, but he is so funny. He's so cute. And if I make another shark, of course, that shark will show up. He's been with me since my very first show I did out of a television box from my church when I was 17 years old. So, that's kind of the way things work. So I hope you do that. George's Sunshine. Yeah, looks like Fruit Stripe, doesn't he? That gum. Yeah, it's Sherry was a ventriloquist and she did a great job. But I met the Wayland Flowers and Madam, and he never ever was a ventriloquist. He said that a puppet is so compelling they're not going to watch you. And if you make your puppet so compelling, then put your energy efforts in the puppet and not your ventriloquism. Unless you have a knack for ventriloquism, then you have every right to do it. It's just that I took them for granted because I had to pick and choose what I could do. Thank you guys. I love you. I'm so glad you like it, Karen. I'm glad yeah, this was a good day to tune in. And you all can thank Jessica DeRosa because she's the one who asked the question. And puppet questions are good because I can't really answer them without performing. So there's a tip for you. A little secret. Thank you, Deanna. Look who's live. Hi, Joe. What's happening? I'm always live, Joe. I love you too. I love you guys too, Jenna and Bella and your whole family. And I will get out to the UK to see you guys. We're going to tour Doc Martin's neck of the woods. I love that show. Oh, and Karen saying, hey, Vicky. I got bullied at my old school, so I went to Bella, we were talking about this, yeah? We talked a lot about this when we had our lunch together about being bullied and so on and so forth. So, you could build a puppet. You're very creative. I've seen your drawings. They're amazing. One day I'd love to spotlight you and we talk about your some of your sketching that you've been doing because you've been sharing it. It's been beautiful. You should actually post it on the page. Bella is one of my main patrons on the Patreon page, and she's done some beautiful drawings. Yeah, you should post some of those. Just great work. With the puppets, any techniques to reduce arm strain from filming? Have tried to lay flat to keep the body out of the shots, but very hard to lay flat and perform. You are correct. A lot of people do a lot of different things, Joe. They will rest it like this, but the problem is when you have your arm in this position, and I'm going to hide your comment for a minute here, because then you can see when it's in this position, it restricts the turn, right? As you know, when it's all the way up like this, if I lay back, which is hard to do, but if it's all the way up, you have this full movement, right? So you don't want to lose that on your hand puppet. So the main thing really for filming is lots of breaks, and then also a good masseuse, and then exercise to build up this area. Okay? So I think one of the questions that I didn't get to is how do I exercise and keep fit? What do I do? I walk on a treadmill right now. Air is bad, and social distancing is important, and people don't seem to always do it, and I have family to protect here, so I work on a treadmill. And I haven't lately, full disclosure, because I just haven't done it. But as a puppeteer, what I do is yoga to keep my arm. I am very, very developed in my upper shoulders, upper chest, and core, and my arms. So I'm very strong and can hold it up for well, I don't want to say hours, but for a very long time, because I've been puppeteering like that since I was about, I'd say since I was about 11 years old, I was starting to puppet like this, okay, because I was watching and people doing it. So you just need to make sure it's stronger. Also, remember when you are performing your puppet to tighten your core. I know this may seem obvious to you, but Joe, if you don't, it's going to be dangerous. I also wear a waist belt. You know those belts that have Velcro that are about 6 inches wide? You want to make sure that you have one around your lower back. Many puppeteers, when I was starting out, laughed at me when I was 17, 18 years old, wearing this belt around my waist. Okay? But they all now have bad backs, and I do not. It's because when I was young, I knew the benefit of having that reinforcement. Why? Because sitting, standing, whatever we do, as a puppeteer, you tweak your body in whack-doodle positions. And so what happens is that belt reminds you to, 1, keep your core tight. 2, if you twist in those positions, protects you from tweaking, of putting yourself in a weird position and not having that support. And the best one is the Velcro one. Honestly, Joe, send a question up to Leo. And if you want to see this belt, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or anyone, if you don't know what I'm talking about, ask to see it. And you can also ask to see my puppet shoes. When I do hand puppets and I'm with a tall person, that say the puppeteer who's the lead is 6 foot tall, and I have to do the arms with both hands for one that's like the Swedish chef, I have to have shoes that are elevated. So if you want to see what that looks like, I'm happy to show you. Knee pads are another thing that are great to protect your knees. It's great to have equipment that just protects you. So even if other puppeteers, when you're, 17, 18 years old and they're in their 30s and they're laughing at you because they think you're wussy, they all ask you, do you have a bad back? No, that's why I'm wearing the belt, is what I always said. No, that's why I'm wearing the belt. And I also bring an extra belt because when I was working with Muppets, the Muppet people, all of the Muppet people, several of them would throw their back out and they wanted to work. And they, how do I do it? How do I do it? So I would help them put this belt on. And that helped them to continue work because it supports the back. And the next thing you know, they're buying belts. Honestly, I should be an affiliate for these belts because these belts really work. I mean, this is why people who lift heavy things have that. It protects their back. And we are not lifting, well, sometimes we might be lifting heavy puppets because the person doesn't know how to make one light. But mainly it's there so that you do not do a funky twist, a funky move. Your back keeps in line no matter what you do. So the belt is number one that I would say you really, really want to have. And then, as you've asked before, flat is good, but, it's best to, just grin and bear it and then take lots of breaks. Demand lots of breaks. You got to have a break in order to maintain, to go long. But I do go, we did, on dinosaurs, we did, when Ethel has she dies and has her vision and comes back, and we're doing the church scene, which is about 6 or 8 puppeteers that are indigenously reproduced to create the choir in that dinosaurs. I looked to the light, and what did I see? So we did that, and we had our arms up for quite some time, and the producers complained because they wanted us to go longer. And what we did was we put our producers in the puppets and said, let's see how long you go. Not being mean. We just said we've been doing this a long time, and we have been going a long time. And the producers were really good about trying it, and they lasted maybe about 3 seconds. Seriously, they went like this one. Oh my God! So this is a way of just saying, try it, and you'll understand. We're not being difficult. We're just saying a break is important so we don't lose that. And you have to protect it, Joe. You have to protect that arm. It's very important. Wi-Fi keeps going. Mummy is working. Yes, I know. Same thing here. My husband is working. So everybody over there on the Jenna side, that's exactly what's happening. So you're right. Nobody should be bullied, but life is life, isn't it? So how do we handle it? Art is a great way to handle it. Okay? Art is a great way to handle it. And to understand that a lot of times it's about the bully. The bully is having a really, really horrible day, and it's not, and they're trying to project it on you and make it difficult for you. It doesn't make being bullied any better, but you can turn them around. I'm serious. Your art, your drive, your success turns them around. It really does. Yeah, I love him, Diane. Oh my gosh, you've seen. I mean, I think actions speak louder. I've been playing with him all day. Tigger's getting jealous, Diane, but he just is so fun. See, he's back again. He doesn't want to not be here. In fact, we should just let him stay right there because he doesn't want to leave. He's reminding me. You got the same plush one. It's from Onward. I haven't seen Onward yet. I gotta watch it because he's hilarious. He's so cute. I love it. I love him. Thanks for answering your question. Thanks for asking it, Jessica DeRose. This is been a really fun thing for people, I think. Wouldn't you say? Y'all say thanks to her, okay? Because she asked a good one today. You all ask good questions. It's just, this one was entertaining. I think you'll agree. So, thank you to her again. Hello from Knott's Berry Farm, and what a cute picture. We are definitely Halloweening out. And in fact, apparently in stores, and I haven't been in any actually, they say the stores have Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Halloween all together now. So what is it? Halloween or Hismas or Thismas or Halloween? Anyway, people are not real happy about seeing all of that. Oh, cool, Tamara. I'd love to see those. Please post them. I'd love to see crocheted marionettes. I've never done that. I've never thought to do that. I think that is very intriguing. Oh, you're planning on making a Pinocchio. Well, you can show us. Please show us. You know you should be taking pictures of your work, right? You are, right? You are, right? Always document your work. You never know when it will come in handy. Yes. See, Jenna, so 6:27 p.m. in the UK, and if little Bella wants to, it's called Pumpkins, that's late. So maybe what I do for you guys is a what? Nighttime. So it's daytime for you, yes? So we got to work that out. Just let me know what your schedules are. I would think that for Bella and family, during the week is not the best time. Weekend is better, but that's kind of why I'm holding off on dates, because I want to see what would be good times for you guys. So let me know, hey? Private message me and let me know what a good day is and a good time, okay, for the UK. Because I really don't want you guys to miss out. Yeah, look, see, Bella's bath and bed. There she goes. She always lets me know when she's got to go. I'll clean your houses. Is that your passion? Okay, so any cool Imagineering stories? And also, how is the stand-up coming up? How is the stand-up coming up? I'm not quite sure about that question. But Imagineering stories, Leo, make a note. Imagineering stories, and we'll talk about it. And then I will try to figure out that last part of that. Night, night, everyone says night, night to Bella. Woo! Yeah, you really should see her drawing. She's very good. I just realized you already know the winner of Outrageous Pumpkins. Yes, I do. And it was, I'm just going to tell you, as you guys build with suspense, so did we. Okay? It's anybody's game, guys. These guys are all so talented, as you've seen. You know, and what's fun for me to watch is I didn't get to know about them ahead of time. I didn't get to see what they did, what brought them to Outrageous Pumpkins, what qualified them as a contestant other than the work that I saw, that I judged. So it's been lovely to get to know them, and I'm watching every week because I think we'll get to know more and more about each and every one of them. And afterwards, I wanted to connect with some. I haven't been as close as I could, but honestly, we've had to be very careful. Contestants and judges, we've had to be very careful, because can you imagine being the winner and having to not say anything until after it airs? Also scary, also tough. So yeah, that is good, Paula. Favorite Disney parks rides? Here in California, it's always and forever will be Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I like going to hell and being able to come back and talk about it. Always been my favorite ride since I was a little kid. Always. And then the other is the Jungle Cruise. And then recently at Disneyland, they put piranha fish in there. Love that. I just so love that. I just get really tickled about weird stuff like that. I'm odd. But yeah, in Tokyo Disney Seas, it's anything that has to do with the mysterious island place they have. And then they have a Da Vinci flying thing that I love to play on in Tokyo Disney Seas. And then anything they do that involves the lake, because they do these beautiful floating shows that can be seen nowhere else. They're just phenomenal. In Tokyo Disneyland, it's the Tigger Winnie the Pooh ride. It is the best ride there, and I love it. However, I also have to ride Splash Mountain because that's one of the attractions I designed for Tokyo Disneyland with a team of 10 other people. We designed and created Tokyo Splash Mountain. And then, of course, Paris. Always visit the dragon. Always love the dragon. Always talk about the dragon. And Big Thunder. I rode Big Thunder. Boy, did we make that scary. Don't know if I want to ride Big Thunder again. It was, I do have a little challenge with motion. That ride is phenomenal. It is the best Big Thunder of all the parks because you go underneath the water and come up on an island. And it's just a brilliant way to enjoy that attraction. Disneyland, like I said, Mr. Toad's. In Walt Disney World, they still have Muppet 3D Theater. Yay! So I go and watch my performance. My very first one I got to do with Jim Henson is Muppet 3D. And so I went with my friends just recently. What was that? That was January, guys. Wow! January I went to Florida and we all went and sat through Muppet 3D Theater. Absolutely loved it. It was so lovely. And then I'd love to see Captain EO again because I did a lot of work on that. And it brings Michael back. But I honestly have a copy of it. So I watch it on my TV often. I have a copy of Captain EO. So, you know, I worked on it. So, yeah. Don't take a shower. You know, for her, she stopped taking showers after that. In Psycho, she stopped. She would not do it. She said she just got too scared. You know, Hitchcock scares his people when he's working with them too. She talks, well, if you've seen Psycho, you know that there's a scene where she has to lay on the floor for a long amount of time with her eye open. Oh my God. If you guys get to read Hitchcock's book and hear from her as she taught and read that section, oh gosh, it's so good. I'll tell you the story, but you need to ask the question and then we'll warn people that it's a spoiler alert if you've never seen Psycho. Because surprisingly enough, guys, there's people out there who have never seen Hitchcock films or original Hitchcock movies because they have an aversion to black and white. I have no idea why, but they do, and that's too bad because black and white is a brilliant media to work in, and I love it, especially when it's done correct. And we just watched something the other day that was so good. It was called something with trains from Czechoslovakia. We watched. Oh my gosh, the art was amazing. I'll have to give you the name of that because I can't remember it. I can host a live. Yes, I'd like to host a live. I miss it because what happens when I teach you pumpkin sculpting together is if you're having a challenge with any of my tools, I show you how to hold them by holding your hand and going through the motions. You see, and I can't do that through Zoom. So I'm going to have to get creative, as so many of us had to be as artists, but it's still not going to stop me from teaching the classes. I'm going to do it. Oh, Stephen, you're such a doll. And what a great picture. So you see here, guys, Stephen Wilderman, you see how he's got a control in that picture? That is a marionette control. And from what I see in his hands, it looks to be the classic 9-string. So there you go, Stephen and marionettes. And the people who know marionettes and do marionettes do them so well. I play with it. I could be better. I was better for years when I was working at Genieland. I was marionetting my hiney off. And I was also marionetting for Tony Urbano a little bit too. So, yeah, it's great. Marionettes are beautiful. And some of them are absolutely exquisite, the way people perform them. So, thank you for that, Stephen. It really touches my heart that you liked it. Hello, Greg, and thank you. Oh, I clicked hide and didn't get. Diane, need to run. She says she's probably been gone for like 10 minutes. But she's telling everybody that she had a good time and she liked the unboxing. Yeah, the minute I saw that it wasn't something from Amazon, I wasn't really paying attention. I said, uh-oh, this is a gift, and I closed it right back up. I didn't even look at the first thing because you guys deserve to see my actual reaction. And you got to warn me if it's something you don't want me to open. Sometimes people are shy about that, but I knew Diane wasn't, so I knew I didn't have to ask her permission. Thank you, Charlotte. So nice of you. Another beautiful picture. OMG, live for reals. For reals, Robert, for reals. Clean socks got it. You never know with people. Angie, you never know. Some people will go into the, what's with you? Washing a puppet after, not such a good thing. Poor George's boa would be messed up. You can keep dust off of them. You do bring a serious point, Angie. And that there's a spray you can get that takes the dust off of those flower arrangements that aren't real. Silk flowers, that's what I'm trying to think of. And you spray it and it gets rid of the dust. So that's a way to take care of your, also Febreze, it works, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, so I should, and then if I can remember, I will show, I did a raven for a TV show that didn't go anywhere. So now I can show you my raven as well. So sorry I missed the majority of our visit. Friend called. Just got off the phone, said she was going to start following you. Can you put my name in the hat for the leaf? Of course I can. What Bob Berdine is saying is that he missed, he's a patron on my Patreon page, and Bob Berdine leaf. And I have a treasure chest on that channel. Every month I do a giveaway, and it's just to thank people for being a part of it. And you don't, there is no, when it comes to the giveaway, guys, there is no amount that you must give per month. I had dollars before, but now they're just donating. It really is worth it to do the $5 a month, because you get to be a part of our Facebook page and a part of our tribe and our Zoom calls and all the fun stuff. And for $60 a year, it's really worth it. Believe me, we kick butt and take names. It's so good. But that's what Bob is talking about here. So that's why. And I hope your friend gets better. Yes, in fact, I auditioned for that, David. I actually did my first video audition for Avenue Q. They then wanted me to fly out under my own money to audition again, and that's when I said no. It's not for kids. And honestly, I would have loved to have been a part of it, but not for, at the time, it cost $3,000 to fly out there, and I wasn't going to do that just for an audition. I needed a little more. But the people who did it did great, so it was neat. I hope so too, and I'm always happy to answer questions. Remember, just hit Leo up and let him know the questions. It helps him out. It doesn't make him so tired. And somebody asked me what was one of the questions that I say to kids. So Leo, be sure to put that in there closer to the top, and I'll tell you some of the questions that I make up. They're pretty funny. You have to entertain a child, okay? A child needs to be entertained, and so you don't want to stick them in front of a TV and show them ballet, because many times some kids will get into ballet, but those are our proteges, aren't they? But you have to, so I was always asking questions that were silly, kind of fun, and performing like I do here. Dr. Zhivago is a great movie, Robert. Long. Like this. No, it's not. It's longer than this, isn't it? What do you think about English people becoming a minority in England by 220, according to the Oxford? You know what? This is the thing. Boy, this is brilliant. Because this is the thing. You know, a lot of people of color are talking about being the minority, but they're not really. In some cases, the minority is is a white person, and I know there's going to be some white supremacists out there that say no, but it's true, and this just is a heartbreaker. You know, English people better get going. You know, because you know, don't allow them to tell you that. Have some kids. Have some great children, and the English people will be on the map. We don't want to lose English people. We don't want to lose anybody. Cultures that disappear are cultures lost, and I love all cultures. So I love learning about all cultures. I told you about the Hawaiians, right? And now when I was visiting my sister, I soon found out from my friend Cowie from Maui Shout out to Cowie, who taught me a little more better training on my ukulele. But Cowie from Maui said that traditional Hawaiians sang their lineage. So when you ask them, can you tell me about your history? They sing it, and they sing it in that beautiful Hawaiian tone. And it's just lovely. It's lovely. So I ran around asking every native Hawaiian person I could find about their lineage so they would sing it to me. It was like, it was magical. So I want people to be individual. I want you to be individual. I want you to be proud of being individual. And I don't want you to be disliked for being your individual too. Okay? The one thing I love about protests is there's all colors in there. There's not just black people or Mexican people or people of color. There's white people in there too. Everybody is supporting everybody. And I think this is important to notice. So that is a great question. And thank you for asking it. Finally watched Captain EO on YouTube. Remembered you saying MJ was afraid of Angelica Houston's story, and that is you in the wide shots of the witch. That is correct. Any wide shot you cannot recognize Angelica Houston is me. Because she didn't want to go any higher than 5 feet. I'm not afraid of heights. So I like it. I do get a little vertigo now, though. My sister took me to that tallest building in Chicago when she lived in Chicago. And I went to the top and looked down, and I had to step back because I was getting vertigo. So I have to be a little bit careful because you certainly don't want to go over when you're that high. So, Tokyo Disney Seas. Yes, the storyline. Yes, I will. The whole Sea Society of Adventurers and Explorers featured in the Fortress and Hightower Hotel. Yes, I have not been to some of the new hotels there. I need to go. I was on my way. Seriously. Full disclosure, gonna see my friend and his family, Saki Ijiri, because I was going to China. So I was gonna go to China first, and then I told my client I would love for him to accompany me and meet my friends in Japan if he wanted to. But if he didn't, I was going to go on. We were going to separate. He was going to go on to wherever he wanted to go, Switzerland or someplace. And then I was going to go on to Japan because they are a stone's throw from each other. And I miss Saki. I miss Saki a lot and his family. So wanted to go and visit them. But at this time, that didn't happen. So I keep telling Saki and his family that I'm going to do it. I want to see him. He has a magical wife. She is blind and she is magnificent. She is better at navigation than I am, and I have my eyes intact. So, you know, what are you going to do? Rothschilds control the world. It's just unbelievable. Don't let them do that. Leo was on the list for today. Yes, it was. And we just gotta bring him on back. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, it's a fun one. Years ago, I was understudying for Bear. Oh, you were, David. Bear in the Big Blue House. Yes, I know Bear because Noel McNeil, another amazing puppeteer. My arms have never been stronger. I got a cool master class from Spinny. Exactly my point, David. Your body, when you are doing it over and over and over, has certain physical attributes that develop. So, as a result, I am a basic size 12 everywhere but a shirt. And that's because my shoulders are so broad, I have to go to either a 14 or a 16 and have it tailored. Because then it's all baggy in my waist. So if I want it to be in my waist, I have to either have it tailored or wear a tight skirt and kind of, you know, work the fluffs. You know what I'm saying? So, so it's rough. And women get really weird when they, you know, if you've been a 10 or a 12 most of your life and you're buying 16s, you say to yourself, whoa, what's going on with my weight? But it's my shoulders. And they've changed the numbers a million times. So, you know, how can you really be sure? So that's our last comment. One more time, I'm going to put my banner up because Bob asked the questions. This is where you go to learn more about becoming a patron of Terri's Tribe, becoming a tribe. Your voice is greatly needed. The more positive energy we get in there, we can light New York, guys. We can light California. We are a powerful community growing every single day. And I want to encourage you to join us. Honestly, there are higher tiers, okay? They're all wonderful. But I've been focusing mostly on this tier and the $5 a month tier and the $10, and I'm about to work on the $25 a month tier because that's a training tier. But really, I warn you, don't go there yet unless you want to, because I'm slow to put content up on that tier. So be at the $5 tier. That's where all the action is happening. $10 tier is great if you want to see my behind the scenes. I'm really cooking there too. But the point is, I want your voice there. That's why I'm telling you. I want your voice to be a part of it. And this helps me to make better content. It was helping me to go help kids that couldn't pay for having me appear. So it helps me now on the Zoom, because I was charging something different than I do when I'm making Zoom appearances. Are different. Every speaker is doing that. So basically, please go here. Please become a part of Terri Tribe. We need your voice. Okay. Do something nice for someone else. And see how long that took? 45 minutes just to talk in comments, because I want to answer whatever I see in there. So remember, if you are new to Ask Me Anything and you're going, Jiminy Christmas, she started at 9:20 and we're ending at 11:46. This is long. Take it in small bites. I will break it down eventually. I'm working on the ghost right now. Didn't say much about the ghost, but I'll show you Gus on Monday. And then I warn you, because I like to see everybody's comments and look at their pictures at the end. So I warn you before I do that, so you can bow out if you want to, okay? They are long, and they're long because of COVID-19. Leo Holzer can back me up on this. I would keep them pretty close to an hour. Before COVID-19, we would go an hour, and we would go a half hour on my regular broadcast. But now, because of COVID-19, people have asked, this is the light at the end of the tunnel for many. This is the eye of the hurricane for many of you, and you look forward to this AMA every single week. And so we've agreed to take a couple hours and bring it to you until the pandemic is over, or till the pandemic is softer. Okay, whatever the case may be, when you're going out into the world. And we hope that you will let me know via messenger when it's time to bring it smaller. I will be doing clips from these longer ones to become shorter and creating a playlist, but everything happens after the ghosts, because I am determined to have them, you be able to pre-order them in October. So I'm not going to be playing around with that. That's a big deal, which is one of the reasons a lot of these things that you ask about have not been touched. And then things like my designing of the box, my designing of the certificate of authenticity, the experience you're going to have when you open up the Hitchhiking Ghosts. You remember how Groot looked. You remember how Oswald was, the opening of the box, the entire experience. It's got to be the same, okay? This is very important, that I do an experience with what you purchase. Don't just put it in a brown paper bag and go, got a couple of ghosts for you, you know? So, all right. Do something nice for someone else, even if you just give them a phone call. Don't call me, I cannot pick up. But you can send a private message. Say happy birthday to someone. Just reach out and tell them you're thinking about him. It does a really good thing. For my friend who's fighting the bobcat fire, I try very hard just to call her every so often and make sure she's okay. Okay, because she's in that demographic of people who have to keep sequestered from COVID-19, and so now she's trying to also be ready if the bobcat fire were to shift and come after her in her home. She's got to go, but it's hard to pack your car when everything's smoky and you're in that demographic, right? So I check on her every so often because I want to make sure she's safe. I did the same with John and Sally up in San Jose when their house was threatened. So yeah. So it's a simple thing. It doesn't have to be a money thing. Send a card, just a quick card. You guys are so good with cards. I just want to tell you, thank you for sending me a card. It's lovely, but that does cost money, so you may not want to do it. Or send an e-card. That's also very lovely, okay? Do something nice for someone else, and you will feel better too. That's really how to fight the melancholies, the mundanes, and the sadness, is do something cool for someone else, okay? I love you guys, and we'll see you on Monday. Have a lovely weekend. This weekend, we're getting our air conditioner checked out. It's fine, but diagnosis is very important. So the doctor's coming to make sure it's doing just fine. Since we had a lot of fires, we want to make sure the air conditioner is not choking to death. So that's tomorrow. All right. It's fun for me, right? I love you guys so much. I really, really appreciate you staying and hanging in, okay? Really nice of you to do that. You guys are diehard. Okay, talk to you soon. Peace out.